Hey, Vo's Coach Patrick here, Endurance Nation. This is another episode of Three Bullets, where we break down key races on the endurance racing schedule and make sure you're up to speed on the three key things you need to know, not all the extra stuff. And certainly we have more inside the endurancenation.us website, or if you just Google the course name in endurancenation.us, you'll find lots of stuff available on our social media channels as well, including YouTube. So do that for sure. In the meantime, I want to give you some background information on today's event, which is the Ironman Tulsa course. Okay, new for 2021, the Tulsa course presents a couple of challenges for athletes. First and foremost, and this is bullet number one, pow pow. You just don't know what's going to happen, right? It's a first-time race. We don't have data. We don't have information. It's a point-to-point for this, from the bike, right? We're starting to swim somewhere else on a different lake, not in the river, which is probably for the best. Then we're biking point to point. Then we run essentially point to point close enough as well. And so there's just a lot of logistical stuff, not to mention 2021, we're still dealing with the pandemic, lots of logistical challenges that will follow. So I think the number one thing I want you to think about as you enter this race is to enter with an open mind. Understand that, what you may normally expect for a race may not be happening here. And that's okay because you're there and hopefully you'll race. But more importantly, that you should understand that there's going to be a lot of smoothing of things out, right? Volunteers may not know full assignments. Some of the directional stuff may be a little off. So just kind of open mind, setting the tone, just saying things are okay. All right. Second bullet for you guys is on the bike. The bike is super unique. And I'm going to pull it up here on my side just so I can take a look at it. When I look at this course, what's really interesting to me, not just the point-to-point nature of it, but essentially how they're taking you sort of, you can imagine what it looks like, sort of like an upside-down Florida. They're basically taking you west to east into the sun in the morning. They're including some short hills on the early side, and then things really go north, and then they flatten out once you head up there. So what's really interesting about the distribution of this course in a bullet number two is just how important it is to be patient early on the bike because of the hills. There's plenty of flat terrain later. You may or may not have a headwind. So super important that you're disciplined early so you can be strong over the second half of this bike course. Should the course pay you some respect and you can go fast, you'll have the opportunity to do so. If the course turns out to be even more challenging than the first half without the hills, then you'll still be okay, right? So normal gearing applies, but we definitely want to be really smart and intentional. Make sure that we're super aero for the end and patient there in those early miles. And then bullet number three is the run course. Run course is super interesting. Majority of it, as you exit downtown, you actually go down to the river. You're going to run out and back on the river twice before you come back downtown for the finish in a slightly different area. Now, when you think about this run course, what's unique is that it's a concrete path. Watch those feet, right? You may want to run off on the grass a little bit if you're able to. But more importantly, it's kind of a meandering path. So there'll be times when you're kind of wandering around. I think for a lot of athletes, that really messes with your head. So do your best, especially as it gets crowded, to run the best possible line when you're out there. Take advantage of the shade when you have it. And really be patient with yourself. The course is flat, which means you're going to be running on the same part of your foot for the majority of the course, very similar to other flat courses like, say, Arizona or Florida. And as such, it can really beat you up. So make sure you've got a new pair of shoes, but also make sure that when you do take walking breaks, if that's what you do, that aid stations, you do stretch things out. And you perhaps even try altering your gait a little bit, running a slightly faster or slightly slower, slightly longer strides, slightly shorter strides. Just take pressure off the regular part of your foot as much as possible. All right. Best of luck. Now, remember, check out endurancenation.us for more of our resources, including Suffer Rank and Race Rank. I'll be able to give you some more information about the course. I'm going to go record those for the team right now. All right. Best of luck to you guys. Hope to see you out there.